Thanks very much for joining us this morning. I'm Maria Bartiromo, and it is Tuesday, February 7th. It is 7 a.m. on the East Coast. We are looking ahead to President Biden's State of the Union address tonight. It happens live at 9 p.m. Eastern, where he is expected to tout job growth and hint at a 2024 run. A new Associated Press NORC poll finds a vast majority of Democrats do not want President Biden to seek re-election in 2024, a dramatic decline from the 52% who thought he should run again just a few months ago. Joining me right now with all the hot topics all morning long is Brandon Arnold and Kaylee McGee-White. Kaylee, I've said this before, but I don't think there's any shot that Joe Biden runs for re-election in 2024. There's absolutely no shot. Everybody knows it. But is there a bench for Joe Biden's spot?
You know, I think that Biden has to run again because the alternative is who? Kamala Harris. And we just saw this New York Times article the other day about how Kamala's own allies admit that there's no way that she could win a national election. She couldn't even win her own home state of California during the 2020 Democratic primary. So Democrats have backed themselves into the corner where truly their best option at this point is Joe Biden.
Well, it's a good point that you raise because Hillary Clinton's got the nails coming out for Kamala Harris, apparently. She was quoted recently as saying that she does not think that Kamala Harris has what it takes. Is Hillary Clinton thinking about coming back into play for 24?
God forbid. Please no. Please, Hillary, do not run again. The last thing that we need is another Hillary-Trump rematch or, for that matter, another Trump-Biden rematch. But, you know, I think that politicians tend to sense weakness, right? They sense Kamala's weakness. They know that she's not good at the job. They know that her own staffers are starting to turn against her. They're trying to get rid of her while they still can so that she doesn't take Biden's chance at a 2024 re-election.
Yeah, and this is from the New York Times, Brandon, and basically the New York Times is talking about top Democrats questioning Vice President Kamala Harris's leadership abilities, and they talk about Clinton privately dismissing Harris and her chances of clearing a presidential primary field because she lacks, quote, what Hillary says is the necessary political instincts. Two Democrats recalled private conversations in which Hillary Clinton lamented that Harris could not win because she does not have the political instincts to clear a primary field. The New York Times reported, Brandon. Now you've got the New York Times turning on Kamala. That's bad.
It is bad, and I tend to agree with them. I think if Biden does not opt to run, and I agree with you, Maria, I think it's unlikely that he does, Kamala does not clear the field. I think it's a wide-open Democratic primary if that's the case. I think Democrats obviously want to turn the page on the Biden administration. That means not just turning the page on Joe Biden, but also on Harris and finding some new, fresh faces, some new ideas to bring to the table. All Biden seems to be doing is patting himself on the back and telling himself he's doing a great job, and obviously the polls suggest that Americans strongly disagree with that notion.
I mean, is that going to come through tonight in the State of the Union, Brandon? I mean, Americans are worried about inflation at 40-year high still, even though it's off of the worst levels. We're still talking about, you know, a dozen eggs up 60% year over year. The president does not seem fazed by any of it. Watch this.
After the jobs numbers that we saw on Friday, what is the risk of a recession?
Still what it was, very low. I believed it all along. You notice every economist is telling me every 6 months you're going to have a recession. So far, so good. But we have to be very careful.
I mean, the polls are in the basement, Brandon. We know that most people are unhappy with their own financial future and with their own state of affairs. We're going to hear from the president tonight on the State of the Union. Will he even acknowledge that his polls have plummeted in this 2-year period and the economy is still in the dumps?
I don't think we will. I think he feels like he's doing a great job. He doesn't realize that people are maxing out their credit cards. They're starting to miss car payments. They're really struggling in this economy right now. And when they go to the grocery store, they don't see that inflation has started to mitigate, as President Biden claims. What they see is extraordinarily high prices for eggs, for meat, for cheese, for virtually everything. And when they see that, and then they watch the television, they see Biden saying that everything is all fine and dandy, it just makes them frustrated. And again, I think it means that they're ready to turn the page on this administration and look for new leadership.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if the damage has already been done with the Chinese Communist Party having been able to surveil America and its nuclear sites and its military installations for a week. We've got much more ahead this morning.